On Monday, March 21st, the National Association of Photoshop Professionals brought its cross-country tour to Phoenix. The Photoshop CS5 Power Users Tour, presented by author and Photoshop guru Dave Cross, packed the house as hundreds came to get tips and tricks to get the most out of Adobe's Photoshop program. Attendees could also sign up for membership in the NAPP, which provides access to information, tips and tricks, and networking 24/7 with other NAPP members. The popular and helpful Photoshop magazine is also a benefit of membership. Books and step-by-step DVDs were displayed for discounted sale, as well as demos of gear from B&H Photo and Video and Wacom, makers of the popular Cintiq on-screen tablet. We're in Phoenix for the Photoshop CS5 Power Users Tour, and what a great person to show us all about Photoshop CS5, Dave Cross. Dave, it's good to have you.
It's great to be here.
Tell us about this tour. I mean, what does it pretty much encompass?
Well, I've always been of the opinion that, while there's always multiple ways to do things in Photoshop, I want to show people some ideas of how they can do things quickly and efficiently, but very flexibly, if that's a word, with flexibility, so that if you do need to change your mind, or if a customer says, can you just change this one thing, that you have a way of going back in and doing it. And really it's all about, for me, getting the thought process going of how can I do my work in a way that's easier but also more flexible.
And the amazing thing here is we learn so much usually, and it's usually by a key term. I remember one of the previous courses we've been through here in Phoenix, the word curves came into play. Now we're hearing a lot about smart objects.
Yeah, well, and frankly, I'm kind of, I think, somewhat the exception. In my office, they actually call me the smart object whisperer, because I use smart objects. I'm always going, how can I do it with smart objects? Because I've always semi-jokingly called myself a very lazy Photoshop user. So I want to do things in a way that's easily changeable. To edit smart objects, that's what they do. I mean, by nature, it's very easy to change your mind. So I try to always be thinking smart objects as much as possible.
Now, how many cities do you hit on this?
Well, this is still actually fairly early days for this particular tour, because it's a new one, brand new content. Usually we take a tour around to, over the couple of years, probably 25 or 30 cities, something like that.
And it's not just closed off to members of the NAPP. Pretty much anybody can come that wants to pay the admission.
Oh yeah, you bet. Now NAP members do get a discounted price for attending, but it's open to anyone, and just part of our goal is to both educate people about Photoshop, but also see the kind of things that we do at NAP.
Who would you say is the target audience for it?
Well, this particular one, it's some of our other tours are called like the Digital Photography Tour. This one, because it's called Power User Tour, really my goal is to help turn people into power users. That means even if you're fairly new, some things right now you may go, I'm not sure what he's talking about, but over time you will. And that's part of the advantage of the workbook we give out, is you still have your notes, so that 6 months from now something might tweak and you kind of go, oh, I remember that, and go back and look at it, and again, hopefully to make you more efficient as you're working.
Now, I notice you're all over the web. You've got blogs, you've got basically tips online. What would be the best way that somebody could go online and find out more info?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, kelbytv.com is where we have all of the podcasts that we do as a group, so including mine, which is called Ask Dave, and also Photoshop User TV and D-Town and things like that. My personal blog is dcross.com, and I'm just now launching a training center in Tampa, Florida, and that's under Dave Cross Workshop, so you can find that information there too.
All right, what's the biggest jaw dropper here that you usually see the audience, they drop the jaws? I can do that.
I'd say it's either smart objects or the whole content-aware fill, because usually the first time people see what you can do with content-aware fill, and the fact that it really does live up to its promise is probably the biggest jaw drop.
The first time I ever used it, that's what you got out of me.
Right, exactly.
It's good stuff. Well, Photoshop World is coming up as well. You'll have, Orlando and Vegas.
Right, Orlando's coming up in just a few weeks, and then a couple of weeks, and then Vegas in the fall, in September, October timeframe.
Well, Dave, thanks for spending some time and talking to us here in Phoenix.
My pleasure.
For more information on tours in your area or the Photoshop World Conference, visit www.photoshopuser.com. From Phoenix, it's Andy Taylor for Tech Talk Radio.